hello, and welcome to Miss Hope's Reading Hour on this marvelous Monday. Everybody, as you can see, we are back at my school again. So I think Wednesday and Friday, I'll be back in my regular studio. But today, we are back at my school. So, just a disclaimer, my friends. Unfortunately, our new chapter book, Tommy Storm and the, oh goodness, Tommy Storm and the Galactic Knights. I can't find it, friends. I cannot find it. I don't know where it is. So, I'm going to look for it today again to see if I can find it. If I can't find it, I'm gonna try to order it so I have it really fast. But if I can't find it, I'm gonna have to do another chapter book. This is another first in Miss Hope's Reading Hour history. Never ever have I not been able to find one of the books, but this time is the first time. So we will be reading some other books today. So today we're going to try to make this a 4-book day. We're going to try because there's no Tommy Storm and the Galactic Knights, okay? So we're going to try to read 4 books. Now here in Philadelphia, the weather has been kind of up and down, cold and hot, rainy and stormy, cloudy and clear. Have any of you experienced how crazy the weather has been lately? So we're going to read some stories about the weather today. Hopefully these books will help you understand the reasons why the weather has been kind of crazy lately. Maybe. We'll see. Okay? Anywho, my friends, my young ones, my older young ones, parent friends, teacher friends, parent-teacher friends, and all friends of Miss Hope's Reading Hour. How was your weekend? Hopefully you had a great weekend. It was quite warm this weekend. Then on Saturday, the weather kind of turned here, and it became super stormy around 3 o'clock. This weekend, Miss Hope was volunteering at the Mill Creek Community Partnership first annual, which it will not be the last, hip hop and jazz fest. It was pretty awesome. It had all these different musical acts. They had art for the kids. It was a whole lot of stuff for everybody to enjoy. Then when it got really stormy and rainy, I was like, oh, I guess it's over, and I left. And then that's when all the fun started. They took everything inside and still had the concert. I saw some of it online, but unfortunately I missed it in person. Anywho, it was still a great event. Can't wait till next year. It will be bigger and better. So, maybe you guys can let me know what you did over the weekend in the comments section. Okay, so that would be cool to know what your weekend was like. Now, my friends, let us get to these books about the weather. Before that, make sure you pay attention to this ticker down here where you can donate. You or your parents or any other friends of Miss Hope's Reading Hour can donate either money, monetarily, or books to Miss Hope's Reading Hour. You can do that via Cash App or sending digital gift cards or letting me know that you would like to send me some books right at the email in the ticker. Okay? Now, oh, I'm sorry, there's an eyelash in my eye. I'm trying to get rid of that so it won't bother me while I'm reading with all of you. Now, our first book, I found this book, and I was like, oh, this looks very interesting. And it is about the weather. So, the first book is called The Weather Works. Look at that picture. Doesn't that look interesting? Let's see what it has to say about the weather. This book is by Mike Wilkes. We'll find out who the publisher is once we start reading The Weather Works. All right, our next book, remember we're going to try to get to 4, okay, is called The Storm. This book is by Mark Harsham, illustrated by Mark Moore. The Storm. Ooh, that looks ferocious, right? Our third book, and they may not go right in order, is called Thunder Cake. And we've read books by this author before, Patricia Polacco. Thunder Cake. Okay, we're going to read that one. And because when we're thinking of it when it's windy, when I think of the wind, I think of kites. I saw this book and I was like, oh, let's read it. It is literally called The Kite by Louise Garay. All right, so 4-book day. Let's see if we can do it. We've done it before. Even with the chapter book, let's see if we can do it again. Our first book, The Weather Works by Mike Wilkes. Let's see who the publisher of this book is. This is a Holt, Reinhardt, and Winston book. So this is, you'll see why this is an interesting book. Have you noticed that lately the weather's gone mad? It couldn't get very much worse. You're entitled to know just why it's this bad. So I've set down the reason in verse. So that means that this whole book is in poetry. It's a poem. Whole book. And it has awesome pictures. Look up at a star. It's incredibly far, but farther away altogether, set off past the rainbow, bear due east at Mars, then sharp left soon after forever. Bathed in cold starlight and of jasper and jade, in the faraway region that lurks, a vast rumbling factory where weather is made, they call it the Great Weather Works. High vaulted glass ceilings arch over the floors. The halls are so long and so wide. That huge as it seems from outside the front doors, it's very much larger inside. In charge of the weatherworks is the big man himself. In all weather matters, he's boss. Though he started the business to bring in great wealth, the fact is he makes quite a loss. Look at the weatherworks. That looks interesting. There's a lot going on at the weatherworks. Inside the great factory, almost every day, the visiting tourist may wish to take the great tour. You just step up and pay for your ticket a marzipan fish. A marzipan fish? That's the pay? From his mock Tudor cottage up high on a vat, the guide briskly came down the stairs to a visiting party that quietly sat clasping sticky green marzipan pears. There is one rule by which all our guests must abide. Keep your pets under strictest control. Don't let them run off. Keep them right at your side every step of the way as we stroll. There, to his distress, skulked an ominous mess, on a leash but quite loathsome and fey. Though the guide flashed a smile, I would have to confess that his mood became suddenly gray. They started the tour as the guide said, "Now let's," as I say, he was feeling quite low, and was keeping an eye on the troublesome pet. "Begin where we make all the snow. In that hallway, there is always a nip in the air. Getting chilblains and frostbite is easy. The tourists were glad that their toes were not bare, but the guide felt increasingly queasy. While leading the party out into the frost, his worries refused to recede. What if this strange creature should somehow get lost and commit some great dastardly deed? In this chamber, the snow is concocted each night, and new frost is hatched without heat. A high-ranking sailor made such a fine sight as he stood there reviewing the sleet. The party observing the wonders of cold, all the acres of whiteness sublime, didn't notice their worried young guide growing old as his hair turned the color of lime. Now lime, they mean limestone, is white. So his hair was turning white. The party, enchanted, the guide, quite afraid, moved into the blazing hot hall, where the sunshine and sunbeams and dry winds are made in great furnaces 20 feet tall. There are rivers of sun like lava that flows in deep channels cooled slightly by fans. The workers all wear tropic headgear and clothes and, of course, have perpetual tans. This place is so hot that it has a mirage reflected from heaven knows where of elephants and memsahibs and the whole British Raj, and a shimmering view of Red Square. There in the heat, perspiration was flowing. The tourists were standing too near to these vats where the hot liquid sunshine was glowing, yet the guide's sweat was brought on here. Oh, look at those people. Wow. The group came to a halt where they saw Rainbow Hall. The colors above were so bright. Souvenirs of the tour were there purchased by all, so they wouldn't forget the fine sight. Fresh rainbows, transparent and perfect in hue, glowed above with no color deleted. Red, orange, and yellow, green, violet, and blue, and indigo freshly completed. Strikes there are rife. It is their way of life. They fight over matters inane. So rainbows held up by industrial strife quite rarely appear with the rain. The guide was now older, his hair long and gray. His beard was halfway to his thighs. Shop stewards could see he was aging away, with a woebegone look in his eyes. Wow, why is he growing older? I wonder. See, there he is, right there. Right there. You see how old he is? What is happening? Let's find out. High on a causeway, the group paused to stare, looking out across great bubbling tanks. Their billowing clouds were cooked up with great care. They numbered and ordered in banks. This room is filled with deep silence profound. Mere quiet is too small a word. The mightiest shot there would make a great sound. Explosions would hardly be heard. There were cleaners at work, using brushes of silk to sweep out the cloud brewing vats. The sludge at the bottom is pure malted milk, which the workers take home to their cats. The group gladly took in this vista so fine, till the guide urged them all to depart. For the strange pet was quiet, a dangerous sign, and the guide feared that mayhem would start. Whoa, look at all those clouds. Imagine that's your clouds. The poor guide took his charges to Quality Hall, where control engineers analyze every piece of new weather, no matter how small, so it's perfect and drop to the skies. A fast wind must blow in gusts, gusting just so. Morning sun must be just the right heat. And not only are there 7 sizes of snow, but we also make 4 kinds of sleet. As he gave his fine tour to the party he led, the guide was quite weary at heart. He looked to the very next portion with dread, for he feared there the trouble would start. Though the guide just that morning had seemed a fine man, not a year more than 38, now he looked pained and aged as only one can, who's been dealt such a cruel hand of fate. Whoa, look how old he's gotten. And now the guide tightened right up like a fist. As they walked, his whole mind was agog. They'd come to the mill where they brew all the mist and weave dark-laden blankets of fog. They entered the mill visibility mill, and the group quickly vanished from sight in the swirling gray cloud of dampness and chill, though the guide could see clearly his plight. He finally emerged from the darkness like night, and the moisture ran down from his hair. As he counted each head as it came into sight, he discovered the pet wasn't there. The guide started to twitch and developed an itch on the upmost side of his brain, and a whine of high pitch from his ear issued, which was the sound of one driven insane. He foamed and boiled over, his mind became wild. He knew madness and all that's beyond. He jumped up and down like a manic child, shouting, "Whippets!" and "Burn down the pond!" What is happening? Is the crazy weather driving him crazy? While the guide shouted at a furious pace through his froth to the tune of some hymns, that vile pet was sneakily seeking a place to act out its grimmest whims. It ran to the office and bolted right in. There are 10,000 desks in that spot. Clerks file 90 forms for each storm they begin. You think weather's easy? It's not. It's tea break at 10 and then once again at 12, but at 20 past 2. To refresh the brain, there's a cup of fresh rain or a mug full of rain-flavored dew. As the beast scurried past, people cried out aghast and looked up from their paperwork chores. But before they could grab it, the pet, oh so fast, had darted on out through the doors. Where is the pet? I don't see it. Where is it? What kind of pet is this? That pet ran to research, the great secret section, where bright weather ideas are worked through. New brainstorms are tested and brought to perfection. There's nothing that research can't do. Their plans for new weather are largely complete. They know all about ratio and size. And their pneumatic sunbeams and digital sleet, will soon be sent into the skies. The pet went on past to the place that it sought, a red room labeled clearly, disasters, and proceeded, oops, sorry you guys, and proceeded to do just what it ought not, like all mischievous beasts who've no masters. Red buttons arrayed with instructions conveyed in bold words most alarming to read. Then, when pushed and played, a vast nightmare parade would begin. The pet pressed with all speed. Where is the pet? Where is the pet? I don't see the pet. Still trying to find the pet. This is the Hall of Disasters. And he's pressing all the buttons. What's gonna happen? From deep down in the works rose a great metal cry as machinery started to groan. It shuddered and quivered and screeched to the sky, causing terrified workers to moan. The great lightning chamber went lightning berserk, and the thunder hall rumbled and boomed, and the poor storm technicians were driven from work and in fear felt they somehow were doomed. From the tunnel of winds, monster clones spun out, cyclones spun out, and the storm raged with wild random force. 'Twas the worst weather ever, of that there's no doubt, and all caused by that one pet, of course. Where is the pet? Look at that lightning. I've got to find this pet. The rain fell in torrents. It poured out a zoo. It rained badgers, not just cats and dogs. Down came ferrets and pythons and stoats and a shrew, and then thousands and thousands of frogs. That storm would have raged till the works was drained dry, but alarm bells went off and connected to a siren which wailed an incredible cry. Every ear in the place was affected. The big man himself, made aware by this pitch, to his desk firmly strode with a frown. He calmly reached down for the great master switch and shut the whole weatherworks down. All the weather was canceled and silence descended up and down the entire shop floor. Everyone was relieved the disaster had ended, and order prevailed there once more. Everything looks calm now, thanks to the big man. The culprit was sought and eventually caught, and was straightway hauled into court. The jury, distraught to learn what had been wrought, heard a grim and disturbing report. The indictment was read to that obnoxious pest. The grim scene brought a tear to each eye. The pet was hard pressed, and it finally confessed while its master sat glumly nearby. They sentenced the pet, sent it far, far away, but the damage it caused was still there. For the man it drove mad on that terrible day was still howling and pulling his hair. That poor old guide's illness grew so out of scale 'twas too big for his head altogether. It burst forth from his mind in the form of a whale, which swam right out into the water. The big man knew well a good vessel was needed to follow and catch this odd whale. So he hired the Pequod, a ship that proceeded to steam through the works on its trail. Where is the pest? I still can't find the pet. They sentenced the pet, but what does it look like? Oh, I can't wait to get to the end of this book. I have to find out why the pet wanted to do all of this in the first place. They hunted the spectre with hook and harpoon till everything pointed was spent. They started at noon on the 19th of June with no signs of success by next Lent. They fastened a chain to a heavyweight spanner, and over they cast at the whale which swam round in an abundant manner. An adamant manner. They vowed they would get it at last. But each throw that missed fell down into the works, and they hauled it back up by its chain, inflicting great damage. It spasms and I'm getting tongue-tied. Inflicting great damage in spasms and jerks, and it happened again and again. We've seen the strange outcome all over the land. For year after year we have had odd weather that just seems to get out of hand and seasons that truly seem mad. So watch what you do, wherever so you roam, and please don't you ever forget, when you venture abroad or in your own home, keep strictest control of your pet. What is the pet? Oh my goodness. The pet. What is the pet? I still can't find it. Okay. That's the end? Wait a minute. Where's the pet? The pet. The pet. I don't know. Oh my goodness. Let's go back to the beginning. I'm sorry, I have to find the pet. Where is the pet? Let me see. They never show the pet. What do you think the pet is? You know what I think the pet is? I think the pet is the things that we do that would affect the environment, which messes with the weather. So maybe it's littering, or maybe it's wasting water, or maybe it's any of the things that we usually do as humans that can affect our environment and the weather. I think that's what the pet is, and that's why in the book you can't see it. Please put in the comments what you think the pet is. Oh my goodness, that was a very interesting story. All right, so I think, let's see, what's the next one we're going to read? I think we are going to read Thundercake next by Patricia Polacco. And this is a Paper Star Penguin Young Readers Group book. On sultry summer days at my grandma's farm in Michigan, the air gets damp and heavy. Storm clouds drift low over the fields. Birds fly close to the ground. The clouds glow for an instant with a sharp, crackling light, and then a roaring, low, tumbling sound of thunder makes the windows shudder in their panes. The sound used to scare me when I was little. I loved to go to Grandma's house. Babushka, as I used to call my grandma, who had come from Russia years before. But I feared Michigan's summer storms. I feared the sound of thunder more than anything. I always hid under the bed when the storm moved near the farmhouse. This is the story of how my grandma, my babushka, helped me overcome my fear of thunderstorms. folk doesn't like lightning. And sometimes thunder a little bit. Grandma looked at the horizon, drew a deep breath, and said, "This is thunder cake baking weather, all right. Looks like a storm coming to me." "Child, you come out from under that bed. It's only thunder you're hearing," my grandma said. The air was hot, heavy, and damp. A loud clap of thunder shook the house, rattling the windows, and made me grab her close. "Steady, child," she cooed. "Unless you let go of me, we won't be able to make a thunder cake today." "Thunder cake?" I stammered as I hugged her even closer. "Don't pay attention to that old thunder, except to see how close the storm is getting. When you see the lightning, start counting real slow. When you hear the thunder, stop counting. That number is how many miles away the storm is." "Understand?" she asked. "We need to know how far away the storm is, so we have time to make the cake and get it into the oven before the storm comes, or it won't be a real thunder cake." Her eyes surveyed the black clouds away off in the distance. There she strode into the kitchen. Then she strode into the kitchen. Her worn hands pulled a thick book from the shelf above the wood stove. "Let's find that recipe, child," she crowed, as she lovingly fingered the grease-stained pages to a creased spot. "Here it is, thunder cake." She carefully penned the ingredients on a piece of notepaper. "Now let's gather all the things we'll need," she exclaimed as she scurried toward the back door. We were by the barn door when a huge bolt of lightning flashed. I started counting like Grandma told me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then the thunder roared. 10 miles. It's 10 miles away, Grandma said as she looked at the sky. About an hour away, I'd say. You'll have to hurry, child. Gather them eggs careful-like, she said. Eggs from mean old Nellie Peck Hen. I was scared. I knew she would try to peck me. I'm here. She won't hurt you. Just get them eggs, Grandma said softly. The lightning flashed again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I counted. 9 miles, Grandma reminded me. Milk was next. Milk from old Kick Cow. As Grandma milked her, Kick Cow turned and looked mean right at me. I was scared. She looked so big. Zip went another bolt of lightning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I counted. Boom went the thunder. 8 miles, child, Grandma croaked. Now we have to get chocolate and sugar and flour from the dry shed. Ooh, chocolate cake. I was scared as I walked down the path from the farmhouse, through Tangleweed Woods to the dry shed. Suddenly the lightning slit the sky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I counted. Boom, ba, boom, crashed the thunder. It scared me a lot, but I kept walking with Grandma. Another jagged edge of lightning flashed as I crept into the dry shed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I counted. Crackle, crackle, boom, kaboom! The thunder bellowed. It was dark, and I was scared. "I'm here, child," Grandma said softly from the doorway. "Hurry now, we haven't got much time. We've got everything but the secret ingredient." Another secret in another book? What is the secret ingredient? 3 overripe tomatoes and some strawberries, Grandma whispered as she squinted at the list. I climbed up high on the trellis. The ground looked a long way down. I was scared. "I'm here, child," she said. Her voice was steady and soft. "You won't fall." I reached 3 luscious tomatoes while she picked strawberries. Lightning again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I counted. Kabang, boom, boom! The thunder growled. Whew. That is going to be some storm. We hurried back to the house and the warm kitchen, and we measured the ingredients. I poured them into the mixing bowl while Grandma mixed. I churned butter for the frosting and melted chocolate. Finally, we poured the batter into cake pans and put them into the oven together. Lightning lit the kitchen. I only counted to 3 and the thunder rumbled and crashed. 3 miles away, Grandma said, and the cake is in the oven. We made it. We'll have a real thunder cake. As we waited for the cake, Grandma looked out the window for a long time. "Why aren't you afraid of thunder?" "You're too brave." Why, you aren't afraid of thunder. "You're too brave," she said as she looked right at me. "I'm not brave, Grandma," I said. "I was under the bed, remember?" "But you got out from under it," she answered. "And you got eggs from mean old Nellie Pecan. You got milk from old Kit Cow. You went through Tangleweed Woods to the dry shed. You climbed the trellis in the barnyard. From where I sit, only a very brave person could have done all them things." I thought and thought as the storm rumbled closer. She was right. I was brave. Brave people can't be afraid of a sound, child, she said as we spread out the tablecloth and set the table. When we were done, we hurried into the kitchen to take cake out of the oven. After the cake cooled, we frosted it. Just when the lightning flashed, and this time it lit the whole sky. Even before the last flash had faded, the thunder rolled and boom, crashed and boomed just above us. The storm was here. Perfect, Grandma cooed, just perfect. She beamed as she added the last strawberry to the glistening chocolate frosting on top of a thunder cake. As rain poured down on our roof, Grandma cut a wedge for each of us. She poured us steaming cups of tea from the samovar. When the thunder roared above us so hard it shook the windows and rattled the dishes in the cupboards, we just smiled and ate our thunder cake. From that time on, I never feared the voice of thunder again. The end. And if you so would like to buy this book called Thunder Cake, in the back of the book there's a recipe for thunder cake. So, cream together at one time 1 cup of shortening, 1 1/3 cup of sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla, 3 eggs separated. Blend the yolks in, beat the whites until they are stiff, then fold in. 1 cup of cold water, 1/3 cup pureed tomatoes. Sift together 2 1/2 cups of cake flour, 1/2 cup of dry cocoa, 1 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Wow, that is amazing. I must try to make this thunder cake. Remember, Miss Hope bakes cakes too. So I think I'm gonna try this thunder cake maybe the next time that there's a storm, because Miss Hope does not like storms, okay? They kind of freak me out. But maybe, just like our young friend here, I can learn not to be so afraid of not thunder, but more lightning, and make a thunder cake. I think I'm gonna try this. I'm going to use this book to make a thunder cake. When I make one, I'm gonna let you know how it tastes, because I've never had chocolate cake with tomato puree in it. Can you believe it? So, very good book. There's ways that you can come up with to not be afraid of some things that you're afraid of. So some of those things can be dangerous, because storms can be dangerous. But it's always nice to have someone around who can help you not to be so afraid of some of the things you're afraid of. Because she was afraid of the chicken, but she still was able to go get the eggs, afraid of the cow, but her grandmother assured her, you can be brave enough to go get the milk. She had to walk through the dark woods. I remember when I was younger, I used to be afraid of the dark. But she was brave enough to walk through the woods and go into the dark, dry storage and get the flour and sugar and the cocoa. And she had to turn around and walk back even through that storm. And using the counting, it helped her to remember it's not super close. The storm is still far away. Great book. I'm so glad I got to read it with you all. So, my friends, unfortunately, my time is up, because remember, I'm at school. So I gotta get back to my class. And the time has run out. So remember, in Thunder Cake, remember that sometimes things that you think are scary are not as scary as you think. And those things that are kind of scary, you can find a way to be brave even through those scary times. And with the weather works, make sure that your pets, the things that you do that might affect the environment, make sure that you're doing good things to take care of the earth, that you're not littering, not wasting water, you're recycling, try to recycle, try to reuse things, try to do all of the things that will be good for the environment so that the weather won't get so crazy. Because I really think that that's what the pet is. Because the pet, remember, the guide said control your pet. And what can we control? We can control what we do. You can't control somebody else. But the one person that you can control is you and the things that you do. So make sure, even my youngest young ones and my oldest friends of Miss Hope's Reading Hour, make sure that you're doing good things for the environment, because those are the things that you can control. And that will help, even though you think it might be something small, those small things add up that can help our environment and help the earth, and make sure that we have regular weather and not super crazy weather that could put people in danger. So make sure that your pet is doing good things, okay? Well, my friends, that is all the time I have today. I'm so glad I got to be here with you on this marvelous Monday here in Philadelphia. It's a little cool, so my kids are about to go out for recess. So I got to put my hoodie on so we can go out and they can have a good time. Hopefully you have a good time at recess too. My parent friends, teacher friends, take a nice break while we're out at recess. And I will see you right back here on our wonderful Wednesday. Have a terrific Tuesday. I'll see you on Wonderful Wednesday right back here on Miss Hope's Reading Hour. Until then, my friends, see you next time.